Well, welcome. I'm back. Barely, I've been flying around. So hopefully you guys are here. I see Tony and I see Freddie, and that's it. So let's have a post show together. And thank you so much. You guys have been absolutely amazing supporters. So thank you. If you are tuning into this recorded, we're going to talk about the WACOM tablet. I got the box right here. And I'm going to talk about why I purchased this, and we're also going to do a tribute. Knock my screen. I have a little something special right here. It does have the Apple logo on it. It's not an iPad. We're going to talk about this as far as the tribute goes. And then hitting record. So welcome to the post show. We're going to talk about the WACOM tablet. We're going to talk about the little tribute that I'm going to do tonight, as well as why I have this stinger once again here on my channel. Again, that's Quick Tech Solutions stinger. Tony is in the chat right now. I have chat set to replay, so if you're watching this pre-recorded, you can see that Tony is in the chat, and also Seeking Join Technologies has joined us. So thank you guys for joining me. So one of the things I've said on my channel many times, we'll just roll right into the show. So if you have any questions or hangover questions from the live show, that's great, because I do the post show right after the live. My routine is usually about 7 minutes long. That's why I had a 7-minute intro. I shortened it up on purpose. Number one, I don't have the energy to go that long tonight, just because I've been recovering a little bit, not looking for any sympathy, but want you guys to know why we weren't live last week. I was actually running a low-grade fever during the live stream time slot. Last Tuesday, it started at about noon on Monday. I was in the studio working early in the morning, getting stuff done, had some client stuff to do, and then it just hit me. So as I've been chatting back and forth with different people on the channel, as well as people that I meet through other influences and people that I have relationships with, occasionally I get an opportunity to do a free consult or get a chance to meet someone from my channel outside of the live stream. So either through email, I actually do a free 1-hour consult that's available. Obviously, if it applies, and I always tell everybody I reserve the right to say that's not my area of expertise. No reason for me to do a 1-hour consult unless you just want to get acquainted, and then that would just be a friend call, which is super fun. FYI, I did get camera one working. I just had to reboot it. I don't know what was going on, but it was freaking out tonight. So it is working. So I can show you that camera right now, and that's a shot at my desk. It's a little overexposed, but we'll adjust that here in a minute because it defaulted to the exposure. So I'll fix that before I bring it on live again. So one of the things that I've been able to do is developing relationships. And so I have Freddie in the chat tonight, and Freddie and I have talked in a Zoom call before. He is building a studio, and hopefully someday in the near future, when he gets that stuff going and building, he talked about it 2 weeks ago in the live stream when people were asking questions about it. And so again, hopefully we'll be able to chance to have him on the channel and be able to talk about that. And he asks questions here, and we also talk in email back and forth during the week. That's also happened with me and Tony from Quick Tech Solutions, because we were on Adam Tao's show together. And so that kind of was a semi-introduction, even though Tony had already been attending the live streams. So a shout out to that. But to meet in a live stream with Adam and both beyond, that was really cool for both of us. So we met there, and then over time, I've been excited about his studio. And those of you that don't know Tony, or you do know Tony, he's been in the process of moving into a new house. And so go over and check out his channel. You can actually see footage now from his new studio. And so he asked my help, actually, I think in the live stream, asking for help with a stinger. And I built my own stinger. I'm not sure if my stinger is even working tonight. We'll try it. Sorta working. Won't turn off right now, so you guys can't see me. So let's find out what is going on. So, and so that's a macro. And obviously, if you make a lot of changes, macros don't know you made those changes. And so even though it'll play that, it's not playing it the way it's supposed to and using transparency. But that's my stinger. I created that in After Effects, and Tony reached out to me and asked me if I would help him create a stinger. And to be honest with you, I didn't really see Tony as a client, a relationship, kind of friends through the live channels, his live channel. I really enjoy that part of the relationship. So I was more than ecstatic. And his desire was to have a logo that would not just cross in the middle. Mine goes from corner to corner, which is a traditional stinger, even though there's lots of different type stingers. But he wanted his logo to come together and then separate, which I've never created before. Something like that in After Effects. I know the concept. I know all the basic rules. I may have not obeyed all of the traditional stinger rules because, again, when it's coming together from top to bottom and then splitting apart, and I'll play that again so you can see that. And I actually added audio to it. I don't think there's audio playing on his stinger right now, but so the idea is to make a transition behind that. And after I sent this to Tony, immediately said he's having a hard time hiding a transition. So let's see, what could I transition to? Let's go to my desktop. Should I go desktop? No, let's do this. Let me just close this for a minute. We will go to channel 4. So when I play the stinger, I'm going to try to do a transition. You can automate this in Companion. So you just have one button and change from a camera to another camera. So you could have stinger play, then 1 to 2. You could have another button, 2 to 3 after the stinger plays, and you could automate all of this. I've never done that. I just would play my stinger and then make a transition because I designed it so you had plenty of time as they're crisscrossing. But Tony's is quite persnickety and very fast. So I'll do my best at this. I'm going to change my transition speed to 0.5 seconds. That's half a second. That means it's going to transition faster. I could change the type of transition. This is just going to be dissolve, and so we'll see how it works here. So here's Tony's stinger. Again, this is Life Journey Productions Studios channel. I just want to show you the stinger I designed for Tony, and I'm going to try to do a transition to my face cam behind it. Here we go. Try one more time going back. So yeah, if you time it right, especially that direction, it's okay. But if I did a 1 second, which on the front of the ATEM, you can change the timing from half a second to a second to a second and a half to 2 seconds. So now I have it set for a second. I'll try to make that transition again. And you can see the transition behind it because I have it set for 1 second. So to design a stinger for a 1 second dissolve is different than designing a stinger for a half a second. And so Tony, obviously, if you want a different version of that, I would be happy to do that for you. So then he said, hey, I want to send you a check in the mail. And I go, I don't want a check from you. And then I thought, wow, that's, I gave something, maybe he wants to give something back. So I said, okay, Tony, anything 1966 Batman. And just to put this in perspective, I'm collecting right now. And so I went shopping. I'll put that down and save it for a few more seconds, Tony. But I went shopping, and let's go wide here. And so I have a new Batmobile. I have the Batcave, 2 versions of that by McFarlane. I have the characters down here on the right is Joker, then Robin, then Batman, and then the Riddler. That's the only characters available. And then they have an actual Batcave. Here's the plastic Batmobile. And I've seen this before, but it's perfect for the size of the display. And I may just collect these in the box and sell them down the road, or I may get them out. I haven't decided yet. But I also wanted to just say that I'm collecting 1966 Batman stuff. And you can see I have the book up there on the shelf. Next to that, I have the series, which is a recent purchase in Blu-ray. And then this is the actual Batcave that folds out. And that's kind of what it looks like when you have it all set up with the Batmobile in there. And then there's actually different pieces to make it look like the Batcave. They're just hollow plastic. But I have 2 sets of these in case I want to open one up for my shelf and then have one in the box for later. my last trip over to Best Buy to get my keyboard. Let me zoom back in here. Oh. I've seen this before, but Best Buy had this, so I just added it to that certificate. Had a little bit of money left, $24.99 US. And it actually has a little robin in the seat. That's going to stay in the box. I have other ones in cases up on my shelf. So I'm just adding to my Batman collection, or Batmobile collection. And then I also got the Hot Wheels Bat Boat, and I also got the little miniatures. This is by Jada, same people that made that Batmobile, and that I have on my shelf. And so they have some little miniature Bat Cycle and Batmobile, and then down the bottom is the Joker Mobile, which I don't remember from the movie, and then the Bat Boat. And if you know anything about, to promote the season 2 and to promote the show, they actually did a movie. And in that movie, they had the 4 key characters, the Penguin, the Joker, the Catwoman, and they had the Riddler. And they were the nemesis that fought with Batman and Robin in that movie. And they really did it to promote the series. They actually built 2 or 3 more, I think, Batmobile models so they could take them to shows, because there were so many car dealerships and people asking to borrow the Batmobile, and that was messing up the shooting. And they were doing so much shooting in those earlier series because there's lots of them every year. Instead of 8 Mandalorians, there's all of these season 1 Batmans and Robins. And that show was canceled after 3 years. But little did they know, it's been in syndication for years and years and years and years, especially up in Canada, eh? You guys up there have been having Batman reruns more than we have here in the United States. And for a number of years, you couldn't even buy a DVD or a Blu-ray version of the series. So it's really popular right now, and then when you buy these boxes, you can see what other Batmobiles they make on the back. So, not getting into that stuff for Batman, but that sets up this. Yesterday, I got a box in the mail, totally forgot about. Tony said, look for something at the end of the month. Sure enough, it was the last day of the month. My wife brings in a box for me, and I open it up, and to my surprise, I have a version of Batman and Robin, and with their original signatures, not on this particular poster, but these are available for you, a number of different poses. And I was so excited because I actually was thinking about this exact same thing, Tony, when I was doing my shopping about my collection. So thank you so much, Tony from Quick Tech Solutions. I think I got the better deal just because I love Batman and Robin. So shout out to you. And this is what, guys, what makes this exciting for me. Let me fix this real quick. I'll be right back. That's the spot for that for right now. So thank you so much. That's why I love this idea of collaborating and having people on a live stream, a post show. It's just to be able to develop the relationships and then also continue to do my best to teach and to train and share with what I'm learning inside my studio. Like the whole idea of this Wacom tablet, which we're going to talk about now. I was looking for a way to not only write on the screen, but do some drawing. Again, I did a lot of drawing when I was younger. It was something that was very relaxing, something fun for me to do. And I spent so much time in the studio, I thought it would just be really cool to get the rust off of the hands and start drawing again. And also with writing on the screen, I can write on the screen with my iPad. But I wanted to use my iPad specifically for the MixFX app and just dedicated that to that. I wanted to use another monitor somewhere in the studio dedicated to chat. And I got to thinking about, why don't I look to see what tablets are available and can you use them as a monitor? So the WACOM ONE is actually a monitor. It's only 1080p. It only is 200 nits. It's not super bright. You can get it for $400. It's the first affordable write-on tablet that has a monitor built into it for Wacom. They have tablets that are 10 grand that professional use for writing. I'm not a professional. This is great for someone that just wants to get involved in starting to write and stuff. So this actually hooks up to your PC or to your Mac. You download the software that makes it work. And then once you have the software downloaded, if you have like Windows apps like Microsoft One, Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, then there's actually a draw feature that's activated and you can actually draw on those screens. So you can make a PowerPoint presentation, click on draw and draw right on top of your PowerPoint presentation. So you may already have the software that you could use with your Wacom tablet. Reminds me of the Whack-A-Mole Wacom. But so I've had this hooked up for about a week and a half, planned on talking about it last week in the live stream, but then got not feeling very good. So we're gonna talk about it tonight. So I've already unboxed it. It's already hooked up on my desk. And we're gonna take a look at that tablet right now. But before I do that, let's see if there's any questions in the chat. So, and anybody else has joined us. So let's just see. I know I'm sure there's comments about the Tony story. It would help if I have the right chat on the screen. So let me change here. Okay, I'm gonna open that over here as well. So that's my last stream. Let's go right here. Okay. Sorry guys, starting 2 streams. I'm just a little bit behind getting the second computer fired up in the studio mode so I can actually monitor chat, delete something if I need to. Okay. Sorry about that. No Ratso tonight, so he is still in disarray. So Ratso, the story with Ratso, guys, is he was in the case for years and years and years and years. And when I got him out to bring him into the live stream as a co-host, to my surprise, as I was just getting ready, getting the rust off, some things began to fail on him. So he has some surgery needed. When my friend was in town the weekend before I got sick, I purchased the stuff I need to do that surgery. I'm going to be the doctor for Ratso. Then I got sick, and in reality, I really have been only off the shelf for the last few days getting ready for today. So was pretty well down for 3 or 4 days sick, and then you'll learn more here when I do the tribute shortly. So apologize for that, but no Ratso tonight. So Ratso is feeling better, but he's still got some surgery before we bring him back into the live stream. Thanks for coming back, Craig. Checking out the main show, and then you came back. So Ratso is feeling better. Freddie says you guys are awesome. Again, check out Conjoling Technologies as well. That's a great channel, and subscribe. Stinger reminds me of fingers. Conjoling says to Tony, that's probably my stinger. It reminds me of fingers as well. I don't think it's true. I don't think Tony's very persnickety, but everybody has a right to his opinion. Sorry about that, Tony. Let's see. The timing in the ATEM control took me a few attempts to get it correct. I had to adjust by the numbers of the frames. Yeah. And I didn't get that technical when I designed that. Tony, I apologize. I just really wanted it to slow down as it was coming together. Give you a few seconds, because the fact that it's coming down like this and then dividing makes it really hard to hide that left to right. So you almost have to let it come down. And at that second it comes down, then that transition probably should already be going. So you said you had it worked out. I'm sure it looks great. And I think I saw it in your last upload video. So, Talking about the macro creation. I don't know. Maybe I played Batman and Robin when I was a teenager, or actually a preteen in school. And so I had a Robin then. I haven't had a Robin ever since. And so I don't know. Maybe you can be my Robin. I was thrilled. Thank you, Tony. When I got that, it just put a smile on my face. I wish that I had remembered what it was because I'd have had the camera on. But the pictures I took for you was just shortly after I unboxed it right there on the kitchen counter. So I sent Tony a picture showing him the look on my face, unboxing his Batman and Robin picture that he sent me. So thank you so much, Tony, again. I love old school Batman. ISF Productions. Haven't seen you in the chat before. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining the post show. Post show is a little bit more personal stuff behind the scenes, thus Batman. That's not the only thing I'm passionate about, but that's been kind of one of the points lately. I'm very passionate about music and recording, though I don't run a recording studio anymore, but I'm working with a musician right now setting up his studio. He's actually a friend for long years. I did some recording for him in my old recording studio, and now he's setting up a live streaming Zoom room and recording room, which is interesting. That's how things have changed. So I'm actually working with him as a client right now, but we've been friends for years, but we're at the point now where it's got to get to business and help him get everything that he needs to purchase. So shout out to that. And again, so music, my boys play music. My older two boys play guitar. My son's in a local team here. He has a band, and it's probably why I spent so much time in a recording studio when he was younger. So, okay, let's see what else I can answer here. So where did I get my family Christmas bonus from? The original one, when I got that TV way back when, I helped plant, and this is going to pigeonhole me for some of you guys, but it is a post show. I was working selling RVs, and a good friend of mine, he and I did some high school assemblies together. He sang and would help me with students, and I would speak. It was an assembly called Let's Talk. The assembly topic was called Not Forgotten. And he asked me, he was planting a venue here in the Tri-Cities, him and a close friend, who I was acquainted with and knew, who had played in his bands. He was starting a venue here in the Tri-Cities, and I'm very good at admin. I'm very good at the details and the behind the scenes stuff, working with finances and all that stuff. Even though I'm not an accountant, I just get the processes and all of that, and can manage that for him. And so he convinced me to leave my then selling job. And I went and helped them for about 2.5 years in the Tri-Cities. And every Christmas, they would hand out bonus checks for those of us that were on full-time staff at that facility. I then went back to sales years later. But during that period of time, that's when I got that bonus check. And then we had some other money that we had set aside for Christmas. We were already talking about getting a TV, so it just tipped us, and we ended up buying that then TV, which was a Vizio. We bought it from Costco online. They delivered it to the front door and carried it in the house. I unboxed it, and we hung it on the wall and took down the screen that we had and the projection unit, and that became our TV. When you can get a 65-inch TV or 75-inch TV at the time, you don't need an 80-inch projection system that's only 720p. When I had a 4K TV, and that died on us. And that was years ago. That's all the way back in the other house. I still had the recording studio at the time. I hadn't turned the keys over to my wife because she did move in to the downstairs recording studio, the big one, and I built. The deal was she takes over the downstairs. I was going to move into mastering and what I'm doing now, even though I wasn't live streaming. And so I took a room upstairs. She helped pay to remodel it. And so it became a mastering suite, and I was working full time again. So was a fun season. Wasn't quite as fun as the recording studio, but she loved the space. And then because of my situation with my in-laws, we needed to sell their house and our house and build two houses side by side. And that's where we are now. And this is our third year. We're going into our third summer in this house. I'm very excited about that. And hopefully summer will get here really, really soon. So that's where the bonus check came from. Okay, what else can I answer here before we dive into the Wacom tablet? I made up the story about sending Ratso out because, again, ventriloquism, it's a character. Today I'm a little bit more, being a little bit more real, but I made up the story of him going on a trip out of town. Ratso is a ventriloquist puppet that was made by Matt Puppets out of Florida. And he really doesn't do much traveling on his own, but his backstory is he's a street rat. And he traveled all over the country in a box. And so I kind of painted that picture. But those of you in the post show now know that Ratso is still in his trunk, waiting repair. And then he'll be back with us live very soon. And who knows, he may make an appearance in the studio tour because we broke 1,000 subscribers. So we'll see. Again, I had a couple things happen this week. So, okay, let me just see here real quickly. I think I'm going to take a break from answering any questions. I'll come back to the drawing, the animation in just a minute. That's from Conjoling. Would you consider drawing an animation your own stinger with the Wacom tablet? If you know anything about the Wacom tablet, which we're going to talk about here in a second, one of the things it can do is a time lapse. So we'll see. I addressed Ratso out. Good to have you here, Hank. Stop and think. I don't know. I don't know what I had. Had tests in the house, did not take one. Don't leave the house, had no plan on leaving the house. So in reality, I did not, I don't know for sure. I can tell you that there's been people in and out of my house with COVID, without COVID. Even my son has tested negative, even though there's coals been coming in and out. So we haven't just had COVID in around my world. We've had all the other stuff that you have every winter, including sinus infections and sore throats. And even my grandkids have tested negative, and my kids have tested negative, but yet still had some of the same symptoms that I had this last week. And typically, if it is a strain, and I have antibodies, if it is a strain of COVID, it didn't last very long. So, but I'll never know because I didn't test. And I haven't gone anywhere. So I've been in the house for the last 6 days, 7 days. Okay, so let's get into the Wacom tablet. That's enough of all of the other stuff. So I'm going to move my microphone here. Let me open up this app right here. And then I think the way I'm going to do this tonight is let's go like this. Channel 3. Just going to put this on the screen, guys. And if I dive into picture-in-picture here, we'll see. Because that just means taking more time to dink with this. So let's just see what I have here in my upstream key. I can make that DVE. My camera. Let's make it camera 4. Right. There we go. I'm going to make me really tiny down here, guys, so you still know I'm here. Okay. So, and I can cut between that and this camera. Let's adjust the exposure here real quick. That looks much better. And lower the lights here just a little bit for this demo. Using my Stream Deck to lower my lights, especially my main light. Don't want to go completely black. So if I cut to camera 1, you guys can see the tablet here, even though that's not really the angle that we need tonight. So we're going to stay over here on camera 2. Actually, this camera. And I got picture-in-picture open here. And I'll just be a little darker for this. But I have my camera adjusting automatically, but it's going to be a little bit grainy. Perfect for a small picture like this. So I've got the pen. We'll look at that a little closer. Just has one button on it. But this is the Bamboo app, which is free when you buy your Wacom tablet. So you can download it. That's what I'm going to use to draw right now. This is a still I did for a client I'm working with in Spokane Valley. And we are installing a HyperDeck followed by a web presenter and coming in from their ROS mixing system. And so if I was to click on pin right now, of course, it's not going to work for me. So let's change cameras here. Still figuring out this Wacom tablet here. I'm going to reboot it. It's been on all since before our live stream. And let's see if we can get it to right now. Okay, so what was happening, FYI, is that there was when you have multiple tablets, I had a little alert open asking if I wanted to do a survey. So I'm tapping on the screen and nothing's working. So now I can go into pin mode here and I can choose different sizes in Bamboo app. It's pretty simple. So let's just take the big marker here and go up to color. And I'm going to make it this kind of tan orange color. And I could change that to like a blue if I wanted to. But let's go to like this color that's more like my color. Then I can tap and close that. And then so if I was on with a client, I could actually say, okay, let's erase this first. I could take them through steps like, first thing you need to do, it does not come with a power cord. I don't like that pin. So let's get a different pin here. Let's do that. And a different color. I don't like that color either. Let's go something pretty bright, like a bright blue. Okay. So I could say you need to get a power cord because it doesn't come with a power cord. You could also power it through DC right here, and then I could hit back, and it would delete that. And I could say we're not going to be using, at this point, time codes, so we don't need these. And you're not running a console, so we're not going to need the reference in and out. We're not going to be using a serial port, even though the back of the ROS has serial controls, and we haven't really looked into that. So none of that's important. What we're going to focus on is getting the Ethernet hooked up, getting the ROS hooked up into SDI1 with audio. Then we're going to come out of the SDI out. We're not going to use a monitor right now because they don't really need a monitor. They're only going to record in the HyperDeck, and they can use the monitor on front to make sure things are recording. So we need to get it recording to an SSD. So I've asked them to purchase a SSD 1 terabyte, also 2 SD cards for the front, just as a backup. So if someone can't find the SSD for some crazy reason, they'll have 2 cards in it. They'll always be ready for them to record, and they're going to get 2 128s, which will cover their weekly event on both Wednesday and on Sunday. So, we're going to come out of the SDI out, and we're going to go into SDI input in the web presenter, and then we're not going to use this web presenter out right now, monitor out, because we're going to be using this monitor out. But I was talking to them about the SDI conversion if they wanted to use that. So that's in the picture. So now I can use that to kind of go over that. So if I want to talk about one specific topic about downloading the software, I can circle it just to draw their attention on the screen. So I could check off these one at a time when I'm in a meeting. So you need a power cord for the web presenter, SDI in with audio from the ROS. You need SDI out to the Mac, which is going to be our backup to OBS, which is the way they're recording now. So we're going to keep that just as a backup. So if for a fail-safe, they can record as well as stream from OBS if they can't get the web presenter working. You need to get the firmware taken care of. You need to make sure that we have it in the network so they can use the software. And then we can talk about HDMI out. And I did fix this spelling error before this went in my meeting, but I used the wrong still for tonight. So I can go through all of these, and then I can just back out of this, or I could use the eraser if I needed to erase something and erase it. And so obviously the advantage of looking over my shoulder from the other camera angle, and something like this look, is that I can be talking to you with a pen, and you can also see over my shoulder. So the idea for me is to be able to use this as a screen as well as using this as a drawing device. So I'm going to show you a little bit higher tech way to draw on it now. So let's cut back to camera 3 and bring back on picture-in-picture here. I got the battle of the mouses here tonight. So I can also close this app and open this one. And I think it's open behind my live stream. Or is it not? There we go. So this is just a blank piece of paper, and this is an app called Clip Pro, I believe. And it's $49 one-time purchase. You can also sync it with an iPad and other devices, but you have to pay for that. I bought the single version. When you buy a WACOM tablet, I got 1 3-month trial free. Then I think it's extended for 6 months, but that's on my laptop. So I can take the WACOM tablet and go remotely to like a restaurant or to a place and just draw. But I also bought it for my PC, which was $49. And so here I have all these high-tech brushes. And so this would be more for just doing drawings. And you can also, it has a record function. And trying to remember where that is exactly, because I just started using this app. This is Clip Studio Paint. So it's got a time-lapse function, and I'm just not seeing it right now. Animation. So I can create animation layers. I can do all kinds of crazy things with this device, but I'm just still learning it. So I've had this app for about I don't know, I would say about 4 days where I actually have had the chance to play with it and do a little bit of drawing. I did a little bit of a recording, which I was going to have available tonight, but I didn't get it available. I will have it in next week's intro reel, but it was actually me just doing a drawing about the pop keys, keyboard and the pop mouse, and just kind of did a little drawing, nothing spectacular, and did a time lapse of that. But again, this pen is not their most expensive pen. It has one button, and you can program this button to do what you want it to do. So I could use it to switch software. I could go back to my desktop. I could use this to change to an eraser. It's just one button, but you can also take the keyboard and you can program quick keys on the keyboard. So the plan is to have the keyboard here right off to the side and my mouse all right here. And then I can cut to my overhead camera, camera 3. And now I have this setup, so I can sit here and draw, and also have it set up like this when I have a client and I have artwork and something in front of it. So you already saw that I can use the Bamboo app and bring in a still image. So I can have other still images. This is a photograph that we took up in a music video. You guys aren't seeing that, so let me switch to the pad again. Wacom tablet here. Sorry. So this is a video on the Bamboo app, and so I can draw on this as well. That's an artist named Quinnell, and we recorded an album with him in the early days of our studio. His vehicle fell through, so I had a friend that let us use that Mustang. Believe it or not, this was shot out in a field. There were some houses over here. Sorry about that. Just went crazy. Try that again. But now this is right by where I live. So since we did this music video, and we had a time lapse of the sun up here in that music video, I believe there's a link on my channel. But we shot this with 2 cameras, and one of them was my camera, and then we also had a background camera for that. But again, that's real cool thing is you can just bring in a picture in here and draw right on top of the screen. And I could pause a video and draw if I had an app that does that. So I'm still learning how to use this. I can also use this as a monitor. So this could just be monitoring the chat, which is going to be exciting for me because I'd like to be able to use it to monitor the chat and touch what's chat message I want to pop on the screen. So there's lots of things I can do with this. As we go back to this over the shoulder shot, it adds one more monitor. So I have my desktop up here. It's also, the PC is right here. This is my laptop right here in the in the multi-view. And now I have another monitor on my desk, and I can split or duplicate my desktop, and that's how I'm doing it. I'm duplicating the pad with the monitor because it actually thinks that multi-view is a monitor. So it actually, your PC detects it as a monitor, and so you can drag things over there, or you can duplicate a display there as well because it's such a little tiny little picture. I could make it bigger by just changing the output settings. So instead of doing multi-view out, I can go right down now and do just my ATEM Mini Pro out. So I could put up there a giant version of what's on this screen if I wanted to. So as I'm drawing down here, it would be drawing up there. View, and I can make it a specific camera because it's the HDMI output number 1. And I almost always have one set to multi-view, but that's what's nice about having the matrix. My mouse is giving me a hard time here because again, I have that face cam going and it eats up a lot of laptop PC. So keep that in mind if you're going to use a face cam for a live stream or a Logitech camera, because they do take up a lot of PC. It's broadcasting basically to the screen and to another screen, a 1080p 30 frame per second video. So it does take up some CPU. Now, one of the things you can see on the screen is the software that comes with the face cam. And so one of these days, we're going to talk about that in the post show as well. And there are some really cool adjustments. I could be using OBS and making it full screen, but I'm just showing you the face cam software and showing you my desk. But I love having another monitor. The Wacom gives me a monitor. The Wacom gives me drawing ability. The Wacom, I call it Wacom gives me the ability to monitor just another monitor, so I can be touch screening with the mouse. And it's really nice if you just don't use your mouse for a while and use your pen. This is the pen, not a mouse. This is the mouse, and this is the pen. Using the pen is really intuitive. So I really like the ability to be able to draw on the screen and the ability to control everything on the screen with this mouse, because everything that I drag onto the Wacom tablet, the WACOM ONE, I actually can then control with the mouse. And if it's a drawing application, or if I turn on drawing, then I can draw on it. And I want to show you that right now. So let's bring in Microsoft Word. Open up a doc. Waiting for it to open. You close this. Close that. Okay, now I just have Word on the screen. And I can be a little bit bigger this time. Move it up just a bit. But I can actually go in, you have drawing mode up here on the top. So I could go into regular file mode. I could go into home mode and insert mode. I could bring in a picture from my desktop. So let's do this device picture. Let's just bring something in here that I can legally show you. So let's see here. This is a drawing or a picture that I took. So now I could go into drawing mode and pick a pen right here. Zoom out my view here. Something is taking over my pen here. I don't know what is going on here. Well, it works. Trust me, I've played with it, but right now it's giving me nothing but heartache. So let's close that. Don't save. Let's see if I can open up something else here, PowerPoint. So it could be a display. I can draw on the screen. I can change slides. welcome to the live show. And I could add more slides, and I can use PowerPoint. I don't know why I wasn't drawing on Word, but I can draw right here on the screen. And I can just back out of that if I don't like it. I could highlight, use my highlighter. But there's all kinds of ways of using this tablet, and pretty exciting of what you can do with that tool. I've only just touched the surface. I apologize, guys. I'm still learning how to use it. Literally, it's fresh. Not ready to do a review, ready to do an overview. I just really wanted to bring it live tonight in the post show. But before we run out of time, I want to change things up here real quick. I hope you're staying with me. I'm going to lower down the legs of my tablet, make sure that my Canon camera is live and ready to go. But one of the big things that happened this week that really has kept me from spending a lot of time on my Wacom tablet or even on in the studio wasn't just because I was sick. We also lost my wife's father-in-law this week, who I was very close with. We have two houses side by side. We made that adjustment because of his failing health, and he went to the other side on Wednesday morning at about 4:50 in the morning. We were up all night with him, surrounded by family, hugs and kisses as he stepped over into eternity. And I just wanted to share that years ago, my father-in-law was an incredible man. He was a sheet metal worker, so he had a hand trade. He also was a rep for the Sheet Metals Union for a number of years, even went to Washington, D.C. to lobby for better conditions. A lot of sheet metal workers were working in the Hanford area, nuclear factories, and my father even had some issues from doing sheet metal work out there. So we're mourning that loss. That's another reason why we weren't live last week, because things had really taken a turn for the worse over the weekend. Little did we know that we would spend Thursday and late Wednesday morning without my father-in-law. But this book is a book that my wife and I had made for him, and it was because he built a hangar, and then he was building an airplane. It wasn't even a kit plane. It was actually from scratch airplane from some designs. And so a lot of these things had to be hand tooled, a lot of the work on the airplane. And then my father fell, had some shoulder problems as he was test flying it, getting everything certified. After years of building the hangar and building the plane, my dad did get to fly it, but he ended up having a shoulder problem. Then he ended up in surgery, and while he was recovering, he had a number of strokes, and really was his demise 5 years ago. So he never really got a chance to take us flying in this plane. And it's now in the hands of someone on the other side of the United States. They flew out here to purchase it. We've sold the hangar, and I just wanted to do kind of a tribute to my father-in-law and take you guys through this book, because this reminds me of his greatest passion. He knew what I was passionate about, and this is what he was passionate about. So let's go to camera 3 here, and let's look at this book. So this is the airplane towards the very end. I went and took some pictures with my Canon 5D Mark III, I believe, and then we sent these pictures off to make a book out of them. A little tribute right here. Many years ago, a garage far, far away. Wait, first you have to build an airplane hangar, and then Dad begins the plane. And so it was his 71st birthday. He's quite older than that when he passed away. But here's some pictures of the inside of the plane. You can see the hangar outside the door. The plane was not finished. That was the state it was in at that time. But we wanted to present this book to him on his 71st birthday. So Alfred Scannell, father-in-law, a father to me, we love you and we will miss you dearly. And that's him working. Some of the intricate work that had to be done on the fuselage, lighting, LED lights. grounding wires, getting ready to put the prop in. Hadn't even finished the fiberglass on the outside of the plane. Here's some close-ups with my 100mm macro lens. Just some pictures, the original plans that he was following. More pictures of the engine underneath the plane, the landing gear. That's my wife with her father in these pictures. Some of the things he did working at Washington, D.C. Lots of pictures of airplanes that he was studying that were in the same group of his plane. And final page. So, we love you, Dad. That's my tribute. Gonna miss my father-in-law very dearly. It's been a rough week, but this is my passion. And so I'm in the studio. Gives me a reason to smile. Tony, thank you for helping me smile this week. Freddie, all of those of you that reached out to me. And I so appreciate it. It's a blast to share life with those of you that are on live with me each week. And from Batman collections to family and life that happens in our real world. And so we're going to put that book away and keep it. That's a precious token for us to remember the man and not forget the life that we had together side by side. So I'm in this house, in this studio here in this location because of all of his health challenges. So we'll see what the future holds for us and for Mom. And because again, we built houses side by side for that very reason, so we could be so close. And actually left full-time work at my job selling RVs so I could help my wife and help my family and help my father and just be close by in case there was a need. So we're looking forward to seeing what this new season is for Mom and for us and the brothers and the sisters. And just wanted to share that moment with those of you that are on with me live tonight. And let me get the chat back up here. And we will bring this night to a close here. Okay. Goodbye. Face cam. We're done with you for tonight. Hello. Live chat. Okay, so let's see. Where do we leave off? Yeah, there is a new variant. So be careful out there. Talking about the COVID that's running around the world today. I do carry a mouse and a keyboard when I travel, depending on what the job is. A lot of times I just carry a mouse and use the keyboard on my laptop is just fine. But I may be taking that keyboard and the Wacom with me when I travel just to give me something to draw in a hotel. When we do more and more traveling, and I've had very, very, very limited traveling. Only do traveling when I absolutely need to be there hands-on right now because of obvious risk both ways, right? So if we can do it by Zoom with all these cameras and I can demo stuff, I will, but a lot of times you just have to be there to solve the problems. Tony said his studio is getting there. Talked about the variant. Freddie's talking to Quick Tech Solutions. What beach is that? Beach. Was that in one of the pictures I did? You'll have to let me know. The WACOM ONE Tablet, I think, is $4 or $3.99 at Best Buy. Let's look. A B&H photo is $3.99. So I think that's what I paid. I think there's some sale prices at $3.69. So just make sure you do your shopping and your due diligence before you buy. There's a little button on the top of the Wacom tablet, the top right. Barely can find it with your finger, but that's how it turns on and off, just similar to the way a monitor would turn on and off. And you can use it as your main screen. You can use it as an extended screen. It makes no difference. It's 1080p only. So and it's 200 nits brightness. So you are limited on brightness and you are limited with resolution. If you want a higher resolution, then look at their other tablets and they get up into the $1,200 to $3,000 range. And I do turn the Wacom tablet off when I'm not live streaming. And if I'm going to draw on it, I'll just use it and I'll shadow the screen on my 4K. Because you can get a tablet from Wacom that just draws and it's not a monitor. And that's the way a lot of people do. It's like a drawing pad. But then you have to look at your display. It's very similar to drawing with a mouse. I wanted tactile, hands-on again with pressure sensitive. I think this has got over 4,000 different pressure sensitivity. And on the back of the tablet, it actually comes with extra. I can't lift it up right now because it's plugged in. But under one of the legs that fold up, here's a side shot of the legs real quick so you guys can see that. Let me switch to camera 1 here. So fold out the legs, then you have this angle, and under one of these legs, kind of snaps into place, is 3 little nibs. So they're just a little points. And there's actually a little spot in there to stick this in, pulls just sideways to put pressure on it, pull this nib out and pop new nibs in. This does not have a battery. One of the things I love about it, once you get just over the tablet within a couple centimeters to like a quarter of an inch, maybe even a half an inch, it starts acting like a mouse, which is really cool. So if you just want to do a mouse click, you can make the one button a mouse click if you want to. But this tablet has a little slot on the front. Right here, you can stick it in. Switch back to this camera. So I'm going to slide it in that little pouch right there. It only goes in one way because one end is fat. But there it is in the pouch. Here's the downward camera, maybe to see that a little bit better, right here. So, and then I just pull it out this way and I have access to it again. And it's ready to write. So PowerPoint, just do research. There's some really cool software. There's some teachers out there that have been using these to do presentations. There's some software that's actually a part of it that's specifically been used for teachers, and you can get it for just your live stream that let you solve math problems. There's even software that's available that you can register for that will let you have other people with tablets writing on your screen so you can see what they're writing, so you can give them a problem and you can see them solving it. So I think the technology is pretty exciting for teachers that have to teach at home or people who are consulting at home. So I could have 4 of us doing stuff together, and I could see what Tony was writing on his tablet. I could see what Freddie was writing on his tablet, and on and on and on with those of you if you had a tablet. That would be a WACOM ONE or the other tablets. And you can get the higher end pen if you want a non-monitor tablet for less money. So you can get the better pen and a really good writing surface. You're just going to have to use your monitor as the main picture. So you put the software up there and you're using this like a regular pad on like a laptop, but you're writing with a real quality pen. You can also use your laptop, but this has a nicey paper finish on it, kind of a matte finish. So it actually feels more like writing on paper than writing on a Gorilla screen on an iPad for whatever reason. So, okay, let me finish the questions tonight, see if we can wrap this up. I am getting kind of exhausted, and it's been a rough week, to say the least. But thank you guys for being a part of the healing process for me to be back with you in a live. Thank you, Freddie. Sorry for your loss. Kevin, Crawley, thank you so much. Sorry for your loss. Tony, very sorry for your loss. And thank you, Tony. You couldn't have timed that little gift to me better. And if you didn't see that earlier in the live stream, Tony sent me this. and I helped him with a stinger. So I think I got the better deal, Tony, by the way. So thank you so much. That meant a lot to me. Yeah, my father-in-law, that plane would have been one of the best built planes you'll ever see. He was so meticulous. I'd have never, ever worried about that plane not flying. I think he worked on it for over 8 or 9 years. I also helped him build the hangar, very little, but I mean, I helped hang trusses. I helped put up sheeting. I mean, it was a full double-sided hangar that could hold that plane and then some. And then he leased out the other side of it. So again, it was just a crazy story how he got hurt. He was actually helping another guy move his plane around, and my dad stumbled and fell down and hurt his shoulder on concrete in the hangar just down the way. And like I said, ended up having some side effects from his surgery, had a stroke, blood clots, and it was just downhill from there. My father-in-law was also suffering from Parkinson's as well. So that really probably is the reason that his body failed so quickly over the years. But we had 5 years from that day he came home from the hospital, so we feel very blessed. And I got to watch football with him even the Friday or the Saturday before, right there in his bedroom, and that was great to spend that day with him and my son-in-law, Joel. If I miss any of your condolences, thank you so much. I'll be reading all of these later when I can really stop and reflect, so thank you for leaving those. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. We thoroughly enjoyed building that book. I highly recommend that you take photos of those special moments with your family. And then all we did was upload the pictures that we wanted in the book, pick the format, and they sent us that nice hardcover book back. It wasn't inexpensive. I think it was like $40, but it was worth every penny. So thankful I could go next door, ask my mom, where's that book? And find it in the sheath, all beautifully kept. That's just the way my father-in-law was. He never left it out on the table where it was supposed to be. They kept it all. I mean, he'd bring it out all the time, but since his health failed, it was in the bookshelf in my mother-in-law's front room where she hangs out and does her sewing and all that stuff. Yeah, thank you, Freddie. A beautiful opportunity for me to share that tribute with you guys. Thank you, Conjoined Technologies, for the great tribute. Are the pockets on my shirt functional or just aesthetics? That's a great question. A little personal. Yeah, they work. So I can put a pin in here, even though they're kind of different type pockets and they fold over and button. But yeah, I could put a pin in here like that. And I think they're both functional. Crazy questions that you guys ask me. It's kind of funny. Yeah, they both have pockets, so I can. I'm actually in a new chair. My chair was failing. It's over there. This is a brand new chair, and enjoying it. I actually bought these really nice rollers from these guys, so check them out. It's Amy at shoplifelong.com. So shoplifelong.com, Amy. And they sell these really cool laptop stands. I've been thinking about getting one of those for my WACOM tablet. So when I'm live, I can have it up tilted. They don't sell that much stuff, but they have these really cool ball bearing wheels. So I replaced my cheap wheels, and now I have fast wheels. My wife put them on her chair first, and I had to have them on my chair because sitting in her chair was incredible. I'm on carpet with one of those protectors on it, so it gets caught in holes. But if you were on a hardwood floor, you can fly. These are like roller wheels, like you would find on rollerblades or on skates, like I used to use when I was a teenager. There you go to the random question, Conjoined Technologies, are these functional pockets or not? If I turn the Wacom off, no, I cannot use the writing capabilities. So it is a tablet. It's a pad. And if you turn it off, then you would have to use. Now I have a pad on my Asus. I actually, just so you guys know, I actually have a writing pen that came with my Asus Duo. It's 4K and 4K, and I can write on it. So I really bought the Wacom tablet to be more mobile, to go with my iPad, an extra monitor when I go somewhere, not with my iPad, with my laptop. So now I have dual monitors when I'm out with my laptop. If I do a live event someday, it gives me another monitor so I could be using it for multi-view if I needed to when I'm doing a live stream. I think I'll have to think about that because you have to come with a USB-C and a regular USB and an HDMI out of your laptop. So I might not be able to do that. So I'll have to check that out. But it is another monitor for my PC or my my laptop. That's why I have that software on both. So I've downloaded the Bamboon software. I have the Microsoft Office apps as well as the app I showed you guys. I just can never remember the name. So I will open it up again. That app is called Please Stand By. That's not what it's called. Clip Studio Paint. So I just liked it. I did some research, so I decided that's the app that I was going to get to draw on. And so it's this app right here. So great drawing app. Lots of things I can do with that. My pen's not live right now because it's in sleep mode. I'd have to wake it up. So still learning how to get things awake when I want it awake. But again, very excited to have that Wacom tablet. Very thankful that Best Buy decided to sell that TV for less than Costco, as well as give me a $500 certificate. So I had the ability to get the Wacom tablet and a mouse pad for an extra mouse pad for my desk. And it's the whole length of my desk. And I have two of those. And we'll close with that tonight. I'm going to go into casting mode here. This will also be in my full studio tour, but I highly recommend these pads because I have a wood desk and it takes a lot of abuse. So I'll try not to make you dizzy this time. But this is the pad that was over here. So if you go back in my other live streams, this pad right here that goes all the way back, almost to the back of my laptop. So it covers my whole desk underneath my iPad. And I have this new mount on my iPad now. It's got Mix Effects open on it. And then this one, I decided to move that other one over here because it's more practical to have it go deep. And then this one fits now perfectly in front of my ATEMs. And it used to go under just the front of my ATEMs. And then I'm using door stops to tilt up all of my ATEMs. My two HyperDecks, and then they go the opposite direction to tilt these up. And those are the same ones as these. And then I have 5-inch long ones underneath my Extreme. And I'm not going to move that because it will just cause us heartache tonight. So, and we'll be using the mobile DJI mobile gimbal for my iPhone for our live stream. So give me your feedback. Should we do the studio tour for 1,000 subscribers next Tuesday for the live and post show? Or would you like a separate this Saturday afternoon live stream of studio behind the scenes? So let me know in the chat. You guys are going to influence that. All of you in the live chat tonight have a vote. If you say next Tuesday for the live and the post show, I will do that behind the scenes studio tour next Tuesday. Or if you'd like to have it on Saturday, let me know in the chat and get your votes in now while there's still time, because in just a few minutes, we are going to be leaving. Conjoling says separate live. I animated your logo, Tony, in After Effects, and I highly recommend that as a tool. All you're really doing is video editing like normal, but After Effects gives you the ability to animate everything. So you can go through, like if you were making a volume adjustment in a audio software and you would have those little nodes, you can actually use nodes for all the different aspects of animating stuff. Then there's the ability to do motion blur. There's ability to do frame bending, 3D, and After Effects for years has been a great tool. So I took your logo into After Effects after I cut it up in Photoshop, brought it into, I think I actually cut it up in Adobe Illustrator because it has a cut tool there. I just used the frame tool, and I made 4 copies of your logo, used the frame tool to cut at the top piece, the bottom piece, because then I could make sure the cuts were lining up. Then I brought 4 pieces into After Effects, and in After Effects, that's where I did all the animations. So I could make it go frame by frame evenly, or I could actually have it speed up or slow down, all using nodes in After Effects. It's quite complicated, multiple layers, but once you start playing with it, it's no different than editing video. Okay, any other votes? I saw conjoling separate. More Keith is better. Whatever. Thank you. That's so sweet. I agree with Joe. Separate live. Okay. Next Tuesday, please. I can't be there Saturday. I'm sorry, Freddie. As of right now, you're losing that vote. If there's a better day than Saturday, I don't have to do it on Saturday. Okay, so Freddie votes for separate. Saturday may not be the only choice. Let me know if there is another day. You're welcome for Tony answering that question. So again, cut it up in Adobe Illustrator. You could have used Photoshop and then took 4 versions of those quadrants into After Effects. Kevin Crawley is off on Saturday, but I reserved Tuesday now for this live stream. Thank you. I appreciate you guys reserving the time. I know the investment, it's huge. There isn't a ton of people always on the live stream, especially when I was off the air last week, but I am greatly honored. I greatly appreciate it. I haven't monetized my channel. You haven't seen any commercials yet because I'm just torn. So please let me know if you would be okay with some commercials, if you'd rather have me just focus on Super Chat, maybe do a membership. I don't know. I would love to get your feedback. Obviously, it would be financially in my best interest to monetize and let commercials play, though I do have some control of commercials. I am going to work on some shorts this week, so you are going to see some shorts from my channel instead of just still images. I do have some videos that I would have had out this week if I hadn't gotten sick, so thank you so much for your patience, and I hope you'll like those and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're chatting tonight, you have subscribed because I do have a chat blocked for non-subscribers. It just helps unmuddy the waters. And if you really want to be a part of the live streams, the post-show, and you want to be a part of the conversation, then subscribe. And if you don't want to be a part of the conversation, you can still attend. You just can't chat. Okay, so Kevin said he's off on Saturday, but he's been reserving Tuesdays. I reserved the time too. Missed you last week. Thank you so much. Conjoling. Monetize so I can super chat you. Yeah, I do have a Venmo account as well. So I haven't decided if I'm just going to post that so people can download the app and give on Venmo. You can also use the associate links. A lot of times you'll see that in the chat. So if you bought a PopKeys keyboard or you buy a HyperDeck from my links, I do get a little kickback from Amazon, though you shouldn't get charged any more for using those links. So thank you so much for using those. And we'll see. I do like the idea of Super Chat, but I do need to be able to put the chat on the screen. And so I'm still studying those options. But I am very thankful that we hit 1,000 subscribers, and I am going to pay up with our studio tour. So I'll announce it'll either be a separate one on Saturday because most of you said more is better than less. But I'm not sure if that live stream will be on Saturday. Let me know today in the chat or after this goes live in the chat. If you're not subscribed and you want to chime in, feel free to just chime in the chat notes on the live video once it's live on YouTube after it's been live for live streaming. So, guys, that's it for me. But Tony says, I'm Venmoing you, but I would appreciate Super Chat. Cool. I've never used Venmo. I've never gotten money off of Venmo before, but I have a Venmo account, and I have shared that with different clients that don't want to write checks and send it to me because they don't even have a checkbook. So, yes, monetize. You give free content. The latest your viewers, the least your viewers can do is give back by supporting you in that way. Appreciate that input. Get the money. I'll look at the commercials. Okay. We'll see, guys. It's going to be up to me in the long run. I do want to make sure there's ways for you to reach out back to me. Again, what Tony did is just as cool as any super chat, but I like the fact that that's available here on this platform. That's really cool. So we'll see. But thank you so much for the comments. I hope I didn't miss anything. Thank you for your condolences. I appreciate that very much. I don't expect anything other than you to share that moment with me. That was a rich thing for me, and it's part of my healing to share that with you tonight and to share that book with you. And I thought I might lose it tonight, so I'm glad I was able to keep my composure. Now, walking that book back over next door, we'll see. You guys just will not see that happen. Thank you, Freddie. Monetize to help you. Cool. Okay, well, I think I hit all the chats. If I didn't, I apologize. Just question me in the video after it's live or any one of my videos. If you want a free consult for some reason, you're building a studio, you want to connect that way, please let me know. Just go to my website, Life Journey Productions Studio. So Life's Journey Productions.com, and you can go to the contact page and reach out to me there as well. And I would be happy to do a 1-hour Zoom consult with you, or a phone call, or a FaceTime, whichever is easiest for you. And we can talk about your project, cost you nothing, and you can have even over an hour. I've done free consults before. And then after that, if you need my help, we can talk about how that will work later on. So I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios with a new Bat picture and some new McFarlane Batman figures and a new Wacom tablet and a new chair, new wheels, new keyboard. I'm broke. That's it. Let's say goodnight. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you very soon with a behind-the-scenes look live from the studio. Until then, I am Keith. Have a great, safe week, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, Tony.